Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, Zarantonov, coming to you today with my good friend,
Yes, Chloe, the sovereign princess of Sancratosia.
and I'm happy to have you here today for this very special episode of Flag Talks, I guess. or, well, today it's not really Flag Talks, although in a way it is. I'll explain that in a moment. More poster talks, because today we are talking about the famous, or according to me, infamous Kiel Week posters. Now, I live in the city of Kiel, and every year, usually in June, we have this week of maritime festivities. Although most of it is just drinking yourself silly nowadays, but there's still a maritime element to it. And uh, Kiel Week has been a thing since the Kaiserreich era. Back then it was to show off the navy more or less, but they've been since 1949, I think it was. They have had a poster for each Kiel week each year, and it's been not really been about the navy anymore, although that's still a little bit of a part of it. It's been more about maritime festivities and having fun and cultural connection and understanding. And I said there's a poster each year, and this poster is very important because it's not just used as a poster all over the city. It's also they also put it on mugs, on stickers, on scarves, and yes, they also put it on flags. They actually sell them as flags. You can put on your sailing boats. So we are also kind of talking about flags here in a way. Although I personally wouldn't put most of these posters, if any, on a flag. And that's the thing. I am not really the biggest fan of these posters, of most of these designs, and the two of us, we are going to go through them from the beginning to not quite the end, but to where we are today. So yeah, let's start, I guess, with 1948. That's when it started. So Chloe, what do you think of the first one?
Um, well, actually, this one is, compared, and we have to compare it from, the most of the others that you could see. But yeah, it's not the worst, but I'd say that combining the words in the flags and stuff like that, there is something that I believe could have been better made. And it's like I don't understand why would some flags be reversed? Like why would Sweden be like hoisted on
True,
the right
true.
side and not hoisted on the left side? So there are things that don't ring okay with me, but I mean compared to some of the other entries we're going to look at, it's it's really 1948. I mean, there's something there.
Yeah, you can kind of see it. It hasn't aged
It's
that well.
especially if you look, yeah, yeah, and if you look at some of, I worked as a tour guide in Montreal at the Montreal Olympic Stadium, and we had a gallery of the Olympic posters because you also have a poster every Olympics, and um, I kind of remember the posters from that era, and it's not too far from what you would have seen a big event having for a poster in 1948. So
True, true.
it's okay. I don't know how I would rate it because there are things that does not ring well to me. But yeah, my favorite for sure.
No, I will have to agree, and it's definitely strange because Sweden is the only odd one out here. It's not like the reverse two flag.
Yeah,
Well, you can't even tell. I mean, I guess the flag of Schleswig-Holstein, that's the last flag there at the bottom. It could be reversed, but it looks the same either way. So
exactly.
it's
Yeah,
very strange. Like, not like did the guys who made this not like Sweden, or well, it was probably made by a Dane. I mean, that's probably the
it's
explanation.
a possibility. Yeah,
So
definitely. Yeah.
they just conspired against Sweden. But I will give them that. It's like this is 1948. It's right after World War II, and Germany isn't even a country at this point. Uh,
Exactly. Yeah.
that came a year later. So it's nice that they're trying to go for this international feel, and it's not like, oh, look at us, we are Kiel, we are Germany, we are great and strong. Obviously they wouldn't be doing that at that point. No, it's like, look, we are part of Scandinavia now. We are
Yeah.
in the cool boys club.
And that's the thing that I find strange because once you start using flags, first of all, you can always, frustrate people, and I think maybe some Swedes could be, why is our flag not, you know the same as the ones of Denmark and Norway, and why only these three, or these four flags? Why not, other flags, and why not regional flags, and why not? Whenever you start using flags, there's always people that are going to be mad at you, and I would stand the farthest away from using flags in that kind of context. Actually, usually,
The good news is I believe they haven't done it again except for one other design, which is actually going
yeah,
to
yeah,
come very soon. And let's
mm-hmm,
move on to the
yeah,
next one, which luckily doesn't have flags in it, and is quite a bit better, I'd say. Although I don't know if I use this as a poster for the Kiel week. I don't know the thing, the big column in the middle, a big stick. It just reminds me of a cigarette a little bit. I
yeah.
look at this and I think of a cigarette advertisement for some reason. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I get that the idea was going to be made like a boat, or sailing boat, but I think the proportions are just wrong, and I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know why that choice was made. It's like the first draft of something that could be a good idea in the end, but it's like you stopped at your first idea, and yeah, but I, there's not that much to it also, and that's the thing when you go with a minimalist style like this, is that you open up to many interpretations and many, things that people can see, compared to if you go with something that is really
Yeah.
figurative. And so, like, you see a cigarette, I could see a missile coming out of the ground. I mean,
Yeah, this could be a
it,
missile as
it's
well.
it's just a big pen with an eraser on the side that's been, chunked out. It could be so many things except a boat, which is probably not what you want when it's a week that is dedicated to sailing and stuff like that.
No, absolutely not. And this was, I think, this was made by the same designer as the last one, Niels Brodersen.
Mm,
Let's have a look. Yeah, this is the same designer. The
okay.
next one, luckily, is from a different guy. Uh,
Yeah.
and I guess they were trying to go for a sail. This is a motive you'll see a lot because
Mm-hmm.
obviously
Mm-hmm.
it's
Yeah.
all about sailing the Kiel week, or not all about sailing,
Yeah.
but it's a lot of it's about sailing. So I think they were going for a sail here. But again, is there really a sail, or is that like what with the last one at least, there were different. I mean, you saw a missile. I saw a cigarette. I mean, I don't even know what to think of when I look at this. Like, is that anything?
Yeah. I get why some people, and it's also, like, this is where art meets, what you want to do. And I get that this is, an artistic representation of a sail. um but yeah, I'm still, it's I think there are things missing for it to be a sale, I think.
Hmm,
And there are other ones in the future that will really look like sales and are artistic, and
exactly.
are kind of like this style and stuff like that. I just feel that there's something missing. It's a bit too simplistic, for, I think, what the idea was going to be at the end behind it. And once again, I have the feeling that we're once again with the first impression. It's probably not the case, but that's the feeling I have. It's like the first impression someone had, and
No,
they didn't
exactly.
think that much about it.
I,
And yeah,
I mean,
that's good. It's beautiful. Yeah, yeah.
this one looks even more so than a first impression because like uh, look at this little red line up here. Just looks like a
Yeah.
fragment, like something that was left there by
Mm-hmm.
accident. It shouldn't be there. And this red line just
Yeah.
stops here for some reason and doesn't
Mm-hmm.
continue. It just looks unfinished and like this
Yeah.
is the first ever sketch someone did, like literally the first ever sketch. And then they just
Yeah.
said, okay, we're done.
Exactly. We also have to consider, of course, that in 1980s, most of these things would have been done by hand and stuff like that. So there may be
True.
some imperfections sometimes, but it's still, there is something missing. And I think that
Yeah.
the beginning of an idea, I think, is there. But yeah, I would have asked for just a little bit more adjustments on the design.
Exactly. And we are back to the flags.
Yeah,
This time we have a few more as well. We've got
yeah,
Britain, France, and the United States, and again that's the flag of Schleswig-Holstein, not not Yugoslavia. So
yeah.
and Germany. Germany is also all the way at the back. You know, all the
and
way.
and 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 you see, that's the thing that bugs me the most about this design, is the fact that Germany's flag is at the far back. Because and that's the thing with the poster back in those years. And that's one thing, that's one of the reasons the Olympic Games also have posters every 4 years.
Mm,
It's because back then you would print the posters and you would send them abroad, so that people would know that you had an event and they would come. Actually, for the
exactly.
games, that was the case. You would send them to the United States, come to the games, come to the games. People would have would need to know about them. And so the posters serve a really functional. They have a functional purpose. What I see in that is, if I speak German, or if I know what Kieler work means, and I
That's
probably
Kiel.
butchered
That's
the
Kiel week.
presentation. Yeah, the Kiel. I know it's Kiel week
Oh,
in
sorry.
German, but the pronunciation is probably atrocious because I don't speak German. But unless you know all of that, you have essentially no idea what this is about.
Yeah, this looks
You
like
have no idea where this is, and that to me is a poster fail. It's beautiful because, I mean, it's universal, or it's
no,
not
it is, and
exactly
I
universal,
like
but
the
it.
art style of it too. It's a
Yeah,
very
the,
very
the
lovely
the
art
art
style.
style is really nice. It's also, once again, really end of World War II. You had some posters made like that by the Allies, especially to promote the United Nations that were beginning to highlight the war effort and stuff like that. So it's really, I think there's a lot of hope in it, but it says nothing about the event. It says nothing about where it is. And that to me is a poster fail from these years, because we have to consider that this had to be,
True.
probably because it's in German, sent throughout Germany, and they were like, come, but come, why, come, where?
No,
That to me
it's even worse.
is not there.
This is an international event. We also have to consider that it's always been
Yeah,
international, and it is still international. So this would have been sent to other
hmm,
countries as well.
probably, yeah.
And you can see here as well. Actually, I just noticed the Swedes got their revenge here because now Denmark is all the way in the back and Spain is on front.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
exactly. And I but the thing that really bugs me also is, why hosting flags on the right? I mean,
yeah,
that's not how people remember flags.
no,
And that to me, like the
goes
US
both ways.
flag and the French flag, are not really looking as much, as good on when they are hoisted from the right and from the left. And so that's a design choice that I don't fully understand. And the fact that Germany's flag is at the far back, that to me makes absolutely no sense for when we know that posters were made to advertise the event abroad. That makes no
Mm.
sense to me.
Because this looks more like something happening in another country, and Germany is like a part of it, rather than this is
It's
happening in Germany.
and to me, this actually could just, and it says nothing about the event. I look at that and
True.
I'm like, oh, it's a international convention about diplomacy, I guess, or
Vexillological
something like that.
conference.
And
This is the
yeah,
UN General Assembly rejected poster design.
yeah, it's exactly that, or it's flag talk and stuff like that. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's anything but killer kill week.
Yeah, I could put anything below that and it would work. This could be like this could almost be like a microcon even. Like
Exactly.
almost,
Yeah,
almost.
we could have used a design like this for
Yeah.
Microcon for sure.
Is okay, but I think we are done with the flags now. And Germany is making a comeback too. This is very
It's making a comeback,
yeah.
but it's Belgium. I mean, it's the first thing I
I guess
see.
Belgium
I'm
is making a
sorry. I'm
comeback.
sorry. Because
Belgium is making a surprise appearance in the north of Germany, but at least the sails look like sails now.
exactly, but when I look at this, and you have to remember 1952. if you want to know about the countries, you have to go to a library, or you have to have a book at your home that talks about the countries, and you have to know your flags. And most people, they don't know flags. They have not never seen the flags because they don't appear on TV, they don't appear on the internet and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
you have to know them, or you have to look for them. When I look at that, and I have in 1952 absolutely no knowledge of, and I mean, there are parts of the Flanders in Belgium have Germanic sounding names because of the Dutch influence there. And looking at this poster, I have the feeling that this is a sailing competition in Flanders in Belgium.
Yeah, could very well be. And the
There is
worst thing,
nothing indicating of Germany.
Belgium has a coastline, so this could actually be the case if.
Exact, and that's exactly why this design once again sent abroad in 1952 with the knowledge that people and the access to knowledge that people had back in 1952. To me, once again, I'm sorry,
And
it
it's it's it's
it
like
doesn't fly.
even people within Germany. I mean, they understand these are supposed to be
Hmm.
German colors, but where exactly in Germany is this supposed to be? Because Germany has a lot of coastal towns. If they don't know where
Yeah,
Kiel is,
exactly.
because not everybody knows where
Hmm.
Kiel is, like
Hmm.
where is this supposed to be? Like Kiel, is that Baltic Sea, North Sea? I'm confused.
Hmm.
Can you at least the other posters they had the colors of Schleswig-Holstein, so you immediately knew
Exactly.
where
Yeah.
to look. But this could be anyway. And what really bothers me about this design, I mean, it's a nitpicky thing, but you see, like the word Woche is entirely within the sail, and then 1952 is on the
Hmm.
other side. But Kieler, they just put
Yeah.
the R is on one side and Kiel is on the other side. Like they could have done that better. Come on.
Oh, definitely. Probably I would have stacked Keeler and Vodka on,
Yeah.
within the cell.
Yeah, that would have
Maybe
been
even
good.
put the 1952 within the cell at the top, to have a, cascading following the lines of the cell. There was and once again, and that's the thing that bugs me with a lot of these posters is that I feel that it was like the first idea you had and you
Yeah.
stuck with it and you never considered the possibility of maybe moving a couple of things around.
Oh God.
And that
Also,
bugs me.
also one more thing. All in the top right corner, you can see it says from the 22nd to the 29th of June, but you have to turn your head really awkwardly to read it.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
also not that ideal.
Exactly.
All right. Now we move on from the Kiel Week to a Guinness advertisement.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing when you go with some things that, but back in 1953, I would expect that maybe, Guinness is not present in,
Fair enough.
as it is now, but still, it's why.
I'm still not quite sure what the harp is
I
supposed to
don't.
mean because I've been living here for 14 years and I've like
Hmm.
this country has nothing to do with harps. Like that's not a symbol that appears here. It's not
Hmm.
like a special cultural thing. In Kiel, like there are no
Yeah.
harps here. Why is there a harp in there? Well, what is that supposed to be representative of? And I guess the bottom one is supposed to be a seal, but with the harp, it really makes it seem like it's supposed to be like a sand dial. Like, oh, time is running
Yeah.
out. Why? This looks
I
and with all the black, this and the sand dial
Yeah.
imagery looks like this is more like a looming thread or something.
Yeah. And that would have been terribly expensive to print because of all the ink
Oh yeah.
involved back in 1953. The especially full black is, terrible for printing. And to what purpose is to of course that makes the boat stand out, but
Mm.
get rid of the harp, which adds a yellow for maybe the colors of Germany, but then I mean remove it completely. Just make the cell and the boarding bigger, the angle of the cell, and make put the Killer Week 1953 and then the dates, and you have a killer design that really, you would see the boat in big bold white on black. It would stand out back then, but the yellow harp is distracting, and it adds nothing, I think, to the design.
Absolutely, absolutely. At least it didn't split the Keeler and the R in this
No,
case.
exactly. Yeah,
So
that would
they
have been
did learn
terrible
from the
for
last
sure.
one. They did learn. Okay. Um.
Hmm.
We Chloe. You start. I
I don't know
I'm
where to
speechless.
start. It's maybe I have to follow the many lines to know where to begin and to end
Oh no.
because oh
Well,
my gosh, is
someone
there?
already filled it out though. Someone already started.
Yeah, yeah, and oof, I'm
Oh man.
speechless, and I feel that you are too, and
Well, at least you can see its boats. This time it's clear, you know.
yeah, and you know what that reminds me of?
Oh
You
dear.
probably done that in like elementary school. You know when you
Yeah.
take a sheet of paper and then you put your colors like with
Oh yeah.
uh, wax crayons, and then you put some black paint and then you scratch to reveal the colors underneath. That is exactly what it feels like.
That's
That is
what I
exactly
fear.
like something I would do in elementary school, and you would just scale it up, and the yellow is distracting. It has nothing. No, it's
Okay.
I'm just speechless.
Just what happened here? Like, what is this?
Oh yeah, yeah,
What? This is just a mess. Honestly.
yeah, exactly. It's too crowded.
Mm.
It it's there's nothing I think is salvageable from
And
this
I
one.
like my mind. Like I know this isn't one, but my mind keeps telling me this is like close to a swastika. This thing. It's just
Oh yeah, as well for Germany, you have to be really mindful of the
yeah.
different shapes you put together, and once again, 1954, no internet, no connectivity, and in 1954, taking a plane from North America to Europe is still a long journey where you have to make a layover in Ireland and to refuel. And most people travel by boat, and you have no idea what the event is, where it is, and stuff like that. To me, once again, for 1954, no, it's not a good design.
Okay. Now we move on to modern art.
Yes, something straight out of Salvador Dali and stuff like that. It's definitely, out of the box for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
That it is.
I
That it
I
is.
like that you can find somewhat of a cell within the design, but once again, I don't know where to look,
I
and yeah,
yeah.
I don't know where to look.
And I just keep my gaze just keeps being drawn to a big red ball in the middle, and around that big red ball is
Exactly.
this cone, and it looks like a tent almost with a flag on top. Like
Yeah,
I see this poster, I think, oh, circus is coming to town.
exactly, and um, I I don't like that the W and the O in weak are taken from the elements of the poster, but not.
Hmm.
It's the same shape as within the L of Kiel, and
No.
I mean the is it 1965 or 1955?
That's.
I'm
I mean,
not fully certain.
I guess you'd know if you were living in 1955. Well, although it could be an advertisement for something that's happening in
Yeah,
10 years.
still,
Yeah, I don't know.
it wouldn't be far out to be that for sure, but I
No.
mean, yeah, if I'm
But now looking back,
it's
this is hard to tell. This is hard to
yeah,
tell.
yeah, and there's so many things to look at, and since the hell has a shape within it, and the flags of the make the E, I would still not be sure if it's kill, or I would be lost to know, because and that's the thing
Yeah.
when you try to play. design with words, it's that there is the very strong possibility that people don't get the full word
Exactly.
on the first time.
Exactly.
And yeah, I, at best try not to do it. It
If if
it misses the mark, I
if
think.
you if
Yeah.
you if you do it, you got to know what you're doing, and I don't think they knew what they were doing here.
Yeah.
They really
Yeah,
didn't.
the only detail I really like is the one with the small flag thing. That rings to me, and
True,
the
true. That's more the
maybe the flag for the fives, not the yellow shape in the first five, but
no,
the
but
flag in the five works.
that's a good use of it.
But yeah, maybe not both bars of the E, maybe just the top one, and go with the flag design. But I mean,
Mm,
you had the idea of the flag design, you had the idea of the yellow shapes, you had the idea of the big sail with the full bar that breaks a little bit everything with the big. There were just too many ideas, I think.
so either this is yeah, to me this is either the circus is here or come see the Salvador Dali
That
exhibition
the
next week.
exhibit, yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
Exactly, yeah.
Stained glass. that reminds me a bit of stained glass, I guess. But this is actually not bad, I'd say.
This design reminds me of the old Dutch currency, actually, and I don't
Old Dutch
remember
currency.
when it was designed, the Dutch currency, but it,
Oh.
it it reminds me of the not the last designs that they had, but the one just before that, and they were praised for their design, and on that, I'm quite okay with that. You know what it is?
Mhm.
It There is some repetition, but it's not too crowded. You have boats
Yeah.
like in different perspective, but keeping the lines, within a certain rhythm and stuff like that. I'm actually okay with this design.
So am
Um,
I. So am I. I actually kind of like this one.
yeah,
Not one of my
there's just a
favorites, but
problem with the reflection of this cell. Yeah, but I think that there's a problem with the reflection of the cell where you have the reflection of the cell, but not the reflection of the boat. And so you kind of figure it's the reflection of the sail, but it's not it's the only thing that would bug me with with
yeah.
this design. But at this point, it's like nitpicking on things. But the
this
rest of the design works. It's to me, it looks like Dutch design, currency style, and they usually did a good work, and so I'm okay with this design.
No, so am I. So am I. Let's continue. Oh dear. What do
Oh
we
my
what do we have
gosh.
here? Um, they're going down the waterfall. They're going down Niagara Falls.
That's one way to see it. Uh, I and on that, I think it may be, there's this one thing that I always hated from my workplace is that
Oh dear.
they when they did the exhibition of all the posters from the games, from the Olympic Games,
Mhm.
they calculated the space between the posters, and they considered, posters, they are vertical, right? And
Yes.
it's not the case for all the Olympics. In 1984, Los Angeles had a horizontal poster, but they did not foresee that. And so when the team installed the posters, well, they installed the posters for the 1984 Olympic Games vertically
Ah,
when it's supposed to be an horizontal design. And I think right here,
they
because
would do
if you
the same
look
thing.
on the horizontal side, all the lettering works and the design
Yeah.
kind of
This
works.
looks like it's not supposed to be like this. This is
It's not
supposed to
supposed
be
to be a
horizontal.
vertical design, and I would be interested to see, pictures from that era. From what year was it? Is It's not
1957.
1975 already? No,
Nineteen 57.
so then why is it 75? That confuses me.
Oh
But
no, no, sorry.
the
That's
19.
because you can't read German. It says 75 years Kiel week. Because
Oh
as I
yeah,
mentioned earlier, this
it was the
goes back to
70.
the imperial age. They just started in
Oh
1948
yeah,
with the
yeah, yeah.
posters,
Okay,
so this is
yeah. Now
celebrating
now
75 years Kiel week as well. And this was not in 1975. This was in 57.
gr- Good thing we have a German speaker on the call. So, but yeah, so what I see is that it's probably an horizontal design, but because of the design of the website, they've put it vertically, and that to me, and that's probably on the website designers something you should pay really attention when you do a gallery like that. It's to especially
Well,
when we talk about posters, we have this idea that all posters are vertical, but there are some exceptions, and in this case, if I look horizontally,
I
the
I
design.
I actually do think it was supposed to be vertically, because if you look at the other posters we've looked at, like this one
Hmm.
right here, you can see in the background. This is also
Yeah.
just like this one. So I this is a theme throughout many of these
Mm,
posters. The writing is
yeah.
made so it would look better horizontally, but the poster is supposed to be seen vertically, and it's like
Still
a strange
vertically.
gimmick of the Kiel Week.
Yeah, it's just that I know that 1984 Los Angeles is specifically designed to be because there are pictures. It's you probably don't know it, but it's like the three stars from like the American flag, and they're kind of in movement. And within one of
Oh
the
yeah, I know
stars,
which
you
one you
have
mean.
pictures, and the pictures are all are all facing. Well, at work they were all facing sideways, and
Yeah.
so whenever you put the poster, it's vertically, and on the website it's
Right.
horizontally, and you see the pictures upright. But it's just because the waves and the sails would make much more sense horizontally, so that's why I make that hypothesis. But still, to me, too many colors, and that to me,
Yeah. True. True.
is just a bit too much. Apart from the whole, is it vertically or horizontally? But to me, too many colors.
So yeah, a lot of confusion from this one. Oh, speaking of
Yeah,
many colors,
yeah, but at least this time
no,
there
it's
are colors you see a lot and colors you don't see a lot,
true,
and
true.
it works better. The other one was just too many of too many colors. This one is, I probably
Yeah,
would get rid of the red. The red does not fit at all, and probably I'd make the kind of darker one the same purple or vice versa. There could be some cleaning up there. Um, I don't know if you see tickets, like ticket stubs within the sale, and that's the only thing I can see, like a stack of ticket stubs, and that's the only thing that disturbs me
oh
about this
yeah, I see
design.
it. I
I
see it.
don't see the mini boats. When I concentrate, I see the mini boats
Yeah.
that form like a big sail and stuff like that. But the other feeling I have is ticket stubs.
I don't like the way they place the letters. It's just they
Oh
completely
yeah, that
ignored the
yeah.
pattern of the bows and just put it on top of it. And especially the 1958, it's it's dark. Well, it's a black on a dark green. You almost can't see it. It's it's no good.
Yeah, definitely.
It's no good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The, the dates I would have probably put them at the top there,
Yeah, exactly.
where there was plenty of white space to do it, and the killer week probably underneath it. There was a lot of waste white space on the top right that you could have put
Yeah.
all the information. It would have not made the and you see that the green sailboat is really next to the side of the poster, whereas the purple one has really a
It's
lot of
not.
space. So you could have pushed all the design a little bit more to the left, and you would have plenty of
Exactly.
space in that white
Exactly.
space to create everything you wanted to create.
Exactly. Like this is like this looks like to me the penultimate design, and they were just supposed to
Mm,
fix a few bugs after this one, but they forgot to do
yeah.
that and they just sent it off.
Hmm.
Um, I have no idea why there is this yellow star in there and an A. Like the coat of arms of Kiel,
Yeah.
I think we might see it later on one of those posters. The coat of arms of Kiel is red and white. It's a red shield with um a leaf, a nettle leaf, a white nettle leaf in the middle, and on that leaf, in
Hmm.
the middle of that leaf, is a black ship with bricks in it. So seeing the
Mm-hmm.
colors, of course, makes sense. Yes, those are the colors of Kiel, except for yellow. But then, what is this? What are these shapes inside? What have do they have to do with Kiel? This doesn't look
Yeah,
anything like
exactly.
Kiel. This looks like a corporate logo almost.
Yeah.
The design on the sail, and I just
And
it
what would have been
didn't
interesting
like
would
it.
have been to have. Yeah, what would have been interesting would have been to have the flag of Germany within that big, blowing sail that
Yeah.
usually takes the boat, and that would have made more sense. But I like the overall aesthetic of it. It's really 1950, end of 1950s, start of 1960s. The kind of atomic era style that you would
True.
have in
True.
many places, and not cartoonish, but hopeful and bright colors, and so I like the
Uh,
general aesthetic
see,
behind it. But yeah, the main cell is a lost um opportunity to make more sense of where it is.
but you figured it out, right? It's an A. It's the atomic sailing boat, right? Why should you rely on the power of wind when you can just
M-
power it with a nuclear reactor?
maybe.
Uh, yeah, atomic sailing boat convention. Uh, oh god, and we are back on a downward spiral. Oh
that
dear
that
god.
that's the appropriate yeah. uh
Oh no, you
it's
see
really
you see this
1960s.
is also really foreboding me. You see the little sailing boats there, and then a big tsunami rolls in. This does not
Yeah,
bode
or
well.
tornado or cyclone or something. Yeah, it's like they are doomed,
Yeah,
basically.
this is a
But
bad year.
yeah, and no, it's I don't think there's much I would keep from that design. I mean, because if the sailing is the main thing, it's been relegated to the far back of your eyes. You only focus on the spiral, and it says nothing about what it is. And no,
This
no,
the
there's
spiral,
there's
the way the spiral looks, and you know the way it's placed. It's so big, and with the little sailing motor,
yeah,
it screams out chaos and like
yeah,
the power of nature and that kind of stuff. That's all well and good, but this doesn't have anything to do with a week of sailing. That's exactly what you don't want to have when you go
exactly.
out for a sail. You don't want to have the big waves crash into your boat and swallow you up.
Exactly. That I mean is
Like,
yeah.
just look at
If
this.
I were doing some sailing, I wouldn't like that.
Look at this abyss here. Like this is the end
Oh
of
yeah,
the
yeah.
world. This is the end of the flat Earth, and they're just going downhill.
That's probably why their sails are running away from it.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, if I would sum up this post in one word, it's apocalyptic.
Definitely. But the colorful
At
apocalyptic.
least Keel knows how to have a colorful apocalypse. I'll give him that. All right, and now out of the apocalypse, the god Neptune joins us, or
Yes.
Poseidon. I don't know which one it's supposed to be, but
Uh,
yeah, there
yeah.
he is. I don't know if
I
you see.
I yeah, that style is you know um
I really like the concept. I love the fact that it's the god of
uh,
the sea. I'm just gonna call him Poseidon now. The god of the sea. He has a sailing
yeah.
boat because this is all about sailing, and he has the globe because it's an international event,
Mhm.
and that's perfect symbolism. But the
Yeah.
style, and also it looks like he's
The
coming out of grass.
yeah, the style reminds me of, a lot of um, Christian and Catholic organizations or design that are made. We try to appeal to a younger generation by having simplistic designs and stuff. And you would look at poster events for the youth Christians or stuff like that, and you would find a lot of these types of designs, I think. And that is just what it screams to me. It's not
Okay.
something that I would see a kind of international event take. But yes, if you look at some things I see that the kind of shading of the colors in pastel and in crayons, and a hand drawn figure that is really um, not that well drawn, and yeah, it's just, yeah, I don't see the appeal, and I don't know why that design was retained.
Exactly. I again, I wish they would have taken this as a base and then work with that. Um, yeah, but
Yeah.
not like this.
No.
And now all the colors have melted away except for three. Uh, and
Yeah.
that's what it looks like, right? Because the shading and the way it's like it looks very dark and depressing. Like literally all the colors have run down and only
uh,
two are left now. I don't know what to think of this.
I'm actually not that I don't hate it that much. I think it's also really representative of the beginning of the 1960s, and it's actually one of the best we've seen so far. I think it's nothing controversial too much about it. Um, Still, it's maybe too simplistic, like the first cell we saw from 1949 or something, 1950s. Maybe too simplistic, but at least I think we'd be on the right track to have something great for 1962. But then again, yeah, it's one of the better ones we've seen so far, I think, still. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, but
I think there are a couple of things missing.
I still can't find behind it.
Hmm.
And the colors are back! Hooray!
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, once
at
again.
this point like
Yeah.
it's just becoming a little repetitive because
Yeah.
the only symbol they are using is mostly the only symbol they're using is the sailing boat, and like I get it, it's a big part of it and you can do a lot with it, but it's just they're not doing a
Hmm.
lot with it. That's the thing. It's just they're just keeping it to
Yeah.
simple geometric shapes most of the time. It's I don't know.
Yeah.
It's getting a bit
What
boring at this
one
point.
of the thing though was, yeah, with this design, although, and I think, if I once again can make a comparison with the Olympics, we are in 1962 this time, and in 1964 Tokyo had this big poster which was just the big red dot from the Japanese flag and the names Tokyo 1964 underneath, and I think one of the reasons the Japanese did that was to showcase, I think, something like a prowess in printing. I think the lettering had some kind of a gold shading, but it was not like gold foliage you would have on the posters and stuff like that. And the red was really bright and vivid and stuff like that. So I think sometimes in those posters, and we have to keep that in mind, there is sometimes a showcase of what technology can do. And I think here maybe with maybe a innovation in printing and stuff like that made it possible to overlay colors which still look vibrant and stuff like that. So maybe it's an hypothesis once again, but it's a possibility that at one point some people wanted to showcase technological prowess. You will see that with the Olympics in Seoul 1988, where for the first time I think Photoshop was used for a poster, and so you will see more of a montage and pictures with design and stuff like that. So there is this trend in poster design that whenever you have technological advancements, you would have people who want to showcase that they
Mm.
can use it and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be too surprised that this design has something to do with that, because it's the first one that there was a small blending with the spiral and stuff like that, but this one really overuses, I think, the overprinting.
Yeah.
I think there may be something. I may be wrong. I may be wrong, but sometimes there is, what we can do with technology. And to me, I kind of look at the 1960s way of doing things, and it resonates a lot with what the Olympics were doing at the time.
No, I agree. I agree. This I guess it could be going for that here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I already said
Yeah.
what I think about the design basics, so let's move on. Oh, now it's only one, and it's it looks to me. I've seen. I quite vividly remember this one. To me, this looks like
Yeah.
it's sinking. It's just the sail is left and like the rest is below water. This is the last. This is this is like that movie. What was it called? SeaWorld, Waterworld, Waterworld. But this
Yeah,
is like the
Waterworld.
end of Waterworld. Everybody is drowned. Everybody's dead.
Yeah. I
Uh,
at first I did not have that impression. Thank you for ruining that for me. But
I'm sorry.
um,
I'm sorry.
I I actually, you know, considered this one to be quite okay, and I think that what happened and probably uh, how many of these posters were made. I have the feeling that this is actually a photo of a high resolution photo for the
Uh-huh.
time of an actual poster sheet of blue that was actually cut and was just moved in that way so that you could take the picture. And that was actually one of the ways you would make posters. You would physically cut pieces of paper and stuff like that. So that's why sometimes it was just easier to have straight lines and stuff like that in some places. But
Hmm.
I just have the feeling that this is how this poster was made, and I think that's really clever to see the cell within one sheet of paper. How can you move just the sheet of paper to make a cell? And I think that was a clever move. Of course, now that you mention it, I only see the remnants of a sailing ship that has almost sank to the ground. But on the design perspective, I think there is some worth and some quality to it. And I think that's why you have this imperfection of having the white line going on the left. That's where one cut was made. And then you have, because I think there was an initial cut along the horizon, and then the top half part was cut in two so that you would be able to make the cell. And so I think that's why you have this small line and the small triangle on the other side. And so for that cleverness, I kind of like it. But yeah, I see the sinking ship now, and
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I can't unsee it.
For me, it's just in any case, sinking ship or not, this is too minimalist for me. That's my
Yeah,
personal taste, but it's too minimalist for me.
I appreciate the graphic thought behind it, and probably knowing a little bit of how
Mm.
a lot of things were made back then. It was probably done by hand and stuff like that. So I can appreciate that, but of course, I think it's too simplistic also.
Oh, it's basically the same poster, but they've added the sun. So now we've
And
moved
my
up, and
gosh,
the like you were talking about the big red
oh,
dot from Japan. This is the big yellow dot from Germany, I guess. It
and
almost looks like the old Lufthansa logo, but they left out the little bird in the middle.
yeah, and I absolutely hate
What?
the kind of it's not uniform in color, but the outline color is like a
Yeah,
muted purplish
it
awful
it
color.
it doesn't look
Ah,
good.
I hate it. I
Yeah,
hate
I
it.
agree. I agree.
It's once again a little bit too simplistic, and then the sale is like the second thought. It's no, to me. There's nothing
Yeah,
good about it. It's horrible.
this is all about sun watching this this year. You
Yeah,
just
exactly.
stare at the sun. Oh God, the big D. It just
And not just
the big D. It's not a sail anymore. This is a D.
I
Oh,
think
it
it's a
makes sense.
type of
It's a
sale.
D for Deutschland.
I think
Germany's
it's a
making a
type of
comeback.
sale. Yeah, yeah. I think it's a type of sale,
No,
but
it probably is
what
supposed to be that.
yeah, what bugs me the most is the white space under the K and the Y and the
Oh,
W.
why?
To me, no, 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 don't do that. No, please, no. That's the only thing that bugs me with this poster for real. The rest is okay. It's not my cup of tea, but the
Yeah,
white underneath the K and the W, no,
no.
please, no.
Yeah,
There's no space there.
I'll give this an okay as well. I guess what they were trying to go for with those white triangles was maybe smaller
The
sailing
sails, yeah.
sails again, but yeah,
That's
it's
overthinking the design. I like though that the white line on the side looks like a sail, and it follows the line of the W. That was really
it
clever.
is. It is. Yeah, it's
For a design
I'll give him
perspective,
that.
that was really clever.
I'll give him that.
Maybe the white under the W is not warranted, but I can see why the white underneath the K maybe okay, but not both. It's either the one under the K or neither.
Okay, for this one you need your 3D. You need to put on your 3D glasses. What
Oh
are
yeah, I
those like?
remember those nice times in 3D cinemas, glasses on, glasses off, and
What are those supposed to be like? To me, they look like triangles with faces.
yeah, I think it's from an actual photo that has been like double exposed, or
Might
you
be,
know,
yeah, might be.
but
No, I think
and
it's.
once again, I think this is to showcase how big you could extract a picture and then put it on a poster. So once again, I think there may be some technical prowess involved in, doing that design. But to me, it is too much to put on people's eyes.
Mhm.
It's too much.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
But
They
but
just.
but I think it was made to appeal to graphic designers.
That's the thing about these posters, where we are not supposed to appeal to graphic designers or to some specific niche.
Yeah.
This is
Well.
supposed to appeal to the public, and they apparently are not considering that.
Yeah.
Um, uh, this is like origami, I guess.
Either origami, your sundial you mentioned earlier, or just folded sheets of paper.
What are we going? This
It's
to me, this looks like actually. Looking at this a bit longer, it looks more like this is some kind of aviation expo or something, like, rather than say sales.
yeah, or it's a napkin that you folded for a nice wedding, and it's sitting on the table. It could be that too.
Very strange
It's like
wedding
a nice
poster.
napkin fold. Yeah, or it could be a handkerchief. That's something you're going to put in your breast pocket
In either
for
case,
your maybe your wedding suit again.
this does not scream sailing week to me. Like,
No, no, no.
and just
I totally agree with that. I
it's
like the movement in the Killer Week though. It's
yeah,
following
that's
once again
lovely.
the lines. I like that, but yeah, too
No,
too crowded and
there is movement in the poster, and the writing reflects it, and
yeah.
I will give them that. Yeah, but
If if the triangles would have been more transparent over each variation,
mm,
which is something we could do now with Photoshop or something like that, it probably back then would have been really difficult. Then I would have sensed maybe the movement of the cells and stuff like that, but just the same saturation and the same opacity 3 times to me, yeah, that doesn't work.
not quite, not
It just
quite.
looks stacked. Yeah.
Oh, what happened? Like, what even is this? What are we looking at? I I guess
It's
flags,
yeah.
maybe. I don't know if this is supposed to be a flag, a wave, or just.
It's an extreme close up of the Greek flag, maybe of or the flag of Uruguay, but then again, no. It's abstraction for the sake of abstraction.
Yeah.
To be abstract for the sake of being abstract.
What?
And my gosh, it's I mean, we are what year? 1969. Yeah, posters are still things to promote your event and to get people to come to your event, and information gets better, and now travel times are getting slower. I think the jet age that started, and Concorde is built and stuff. So I mean, it's one of the golden age of aviation. So people now have better contacts with other people and stuff like that. But again,
Still though, like this
if
isn't.
I have no idea of the event, I still have no idea what the event is.
Yeah, what is this? This looks
I have no idea. It could be
dirty.
an art
Dirt.
exhibit for all I care.
Yeah, dirty washing out exhibit. Some pieces of cloth. I
And
don't know.
and being someone that does not speak German, or maybe someone who has a knowledge that German is a language, Killer Week, the name there could be someone's name. It could
True.
be an
True.
exhibit about an artist named Killer
Exactly.
Watch
This is
or
this is
Waka,
his work
and
because this totally looks
yeah,
like modern art
exactly.
pieces I've seen. Yeah.
So who is this? Is this Killer? I want to see his exhibit, and I mean, it's no one. It's a Killer Week, a Kill
Exactly.
Week.
uh, okay. We're still in the abstract a little here. Waves, I guess.
Still,
Well, I guess they
waves or birds. Yeah,
birds. Yes, at least they didn't go for the sails. At least they didn't go for the sails. And I like the idea of the birds.
I think it's both. Underneath you have the
Yeah.
waves, and over
No,
you
no, you're
have the
right. You're
birds.
right.
It's not exactly abstract because you can figure out
No,
something.
no. The more I look
Abstract
at it,
is
the
the
better it
previous
starts to
one,
look. The more I look at it, the better it
but
starts to look. Actually, yeah.
you have to make sense of it. It's not you something that would scream out at first glance, and if you're walking down the street really fast,
Hmm.
you wouldn't probably guess everything right away. You would see a bunch of shapes,
Yeah.
and then when you start to think about it, you would see the waves, you would see the birds, both, or it would take some time to get it. And yeah, I think that just misses the mark by little, but I mean, it's a beautiful poster. If it was not for the information at the bottom, it was better centered. I think it's a piece that could go in a museum, for sure.
Yeah.
But
Exactly. It
for
just
a poster for the Kill Week, yeah, it
I
something's missing. The sale is missing.
oh man, no, no. I like the more I
Are
look
we
at it,
saying that?
the more I look at it, the more I look at it, the nicer it starts to look. But it doesn't work as a
Exactly.
poster.
Yeah.
I agree. It's just
No,
it's
it's an art piece.
you
It's not
have
a
to look at it
poster.
for too
Yeah.
long. You have to think about it too much. That's not what a
the the
poster
the
is
the,
supposed to
the
be
f-
about.
functionality as a poster is not working.
Yeah, but I put this
And
in my room.
we'll look at other designs
Hmm.
where they work as posters and they are beautiful. I know a couple are coming.
So we're back to the sale.
Yeah, I'm actually okay with this one. I like that they are respecting, color theory. With I think it's analogous colors, or at least it follows, color harmony. I'm not totally against that, and you see that it is a sale.
Mm.
Um, y- I'm so far one of the goods. I think it's simple. It's not too crowded. There are many colors, but they are repeated. The patterns are predictable, and
Mm.
yeah,
The thing is,
I'm not too opposed. Yeah,
I kind of have to disagree with you here. I'm not a big fan of it again because like with those swerving darker colors around us and this lonely sail in the middle, to me kind of screams out loneliness and a feeling of being lost in a
mm,
in a storm
mm,
again. So this is also to me it's just too dark and
yeah.
it doesn't scream happiness. Come watch us sail. This is like
Mm.
uh, one boat lost at sea. Will they make it back to shore alive? Uh,
It would have probably been better if you're
done. This
right,
is
if it were for brighter colors,
the
for
Kiel
sure.
the Kiel Hunger Games.
uh, and I think that one is again a piece that without the information is an art piece that I could actually
Yeah, no.
see any in my room. But as a poster, once again,
Yeah.
the sale you have, it's probably because we see sales a lot since the start of this call.
Yeah. A lot.
But I'm not sure if with fresh eyes I would immediately see that it's a sale.
Exactly.
It could be an aperture for a camera. It could be an aperture for something that opens up. It could be many things, and it could be just simply an art piece. Once again, an art gallery and Killer Week. artwork is the artist.
Okay, and an piece, this works much better than as a piece. So
Yeah,
as a Kiel week poster, fail.
yeah,
No. And now they just got rid of all the symbols. I think this is the first one we've had where there's nothing on the poster except for the writing.
yeah. And
And oh
what a
boy,
terrible way to put the writing. I mean, it's you cannot read it.
no,
And boy, oh boy, oh my gosh, it's not working.
nothing happened that year. That's why there's nothing happened that year.
Yeah.
uh, I just yeah, it's bland.
There's so little to say about it because
It's
there's so
bland. It's
little
just there's
over.
nothing going on here,
It's
and the writing is like,
yeah,
no.
and I would have liked if, like, for instance,
Sorry.
the letters would have made a sail shape instead of being like on a shape on a sail, but it's not a
Yeah.
sail. I, I
Again,
would have preferred a clever design like this, but
you
no,
have to use
this
too
is
much
not working.
imagination to get to any conclusions
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
And what, like, what?
Yeah,
Again, probably sales, but it looks more like
nah.
knives. It looks more like knives, kind of. I don't know. And why is
And once again,
Keel weak?
if
It's so small. The keel,
yeah,
it's like hidden
definitely.
almost.
Uh, Knowing that this poster and
Oh
that
no.
brings me to another poster, kind of thing is that you usually see posters in an urban design. You don't see the one poster; you see a
Yeah.
sea of posters. And they are usually not perfectly lined up with each other, and um seeing a bunch of these, imagine that there's a whole construction site, because it's usually where you see the posters in urban settings. So imagine this construction site where the plywood wall has been plastered with that poster. It would hurt my eyes. That's the first thing. The purple and yellow and orange and yellow are bold choices with the light blue and the white. I wouldn't be so surprised to have a seizure looking at the sea of this poster.
Wow. Yeah.
I would not see the lettering, and I think this one too is an horizontal poster, because if I look it at the other side, it makes much more sense. But then again, I could be mistaken, and it could be a vertical
No,
one.
I
But
think all of the keel.
I hope it's.
I think all of the keel weak poses are supposed to be vertical. So I think this is once again
I
a
hope
choice.
not, but maybe you're right. But I hope not. I hope that this one someone had the sense of putting it horizontally and make more sense of it.
Because all
But
of
no,
them
I
are
mean,
always displayed like this. Like this isn't just on the website. You can see them if you go to the tourist information in Kiel. They actually sell posters with
yeah,
all of the posters on them, and it's just like this as well.
yeah.
But
Okay,
that's actually what I'm gonna
well,
call this one.
yeah, that doesn't
This
work then.
this poster is the construction side. That's what I call. That's what this looks to me. That this is the construction
Yeah,
side.
and it's knives for sure. Yeah, I cannot see sales
No.
compared to the next one.
Ooh,
I
drop in
can
quality.
sense sales. Yeah, but this is once again, I think, a picture. It's not something that was designed, and yeah, it's a picture.
Yeah, and this I mean this is 1974 like but we've seen like like the last ones were pretty good quality. Like this is
Hmm.
just it's even if it's supposed to be that way, it just doesn't it just looks bad low quality. It just doesn't look good.
Yeah, and it's actually a shame because in 1972, when Munich had the Olympic Games,
Hmm.
they had
They had a spiral.
a design that, yeah, and they used a nice use of color too. But I mean, it's old Eichler, and it's a really, a great designer who's done the Lufthansa logo and stuff like that. So I mean, a great German designer. The previous poster reminds me a little bit of what he did with Munich, especially with the mascot, the the what was the name? It's Waldy the dog, I think, and kind of bright colors and rectangular shapes and stuff like that. But this one, considering what Germany was able to do in terms of design, yeah, no, I definitely don't like that.
No, I don't have anything
But
else
I,
to
I
add.
see I see the influence, I think, of old Eichler on this. It's definitely the use of Helvetica, I think, and that's really 1970s. And we'll see Helvetica come back a couple of times,
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah,
Uh, that's
it's the beginning of the Helvetica craze that will sweep over the
the
world,
Helvetica
and
craze.
yeah, and that makes it that now whenever you see it, you kind of go, "Oh, once again, Helvetica."
Oh dear.
But yeah, because I see it on my computer screen, and I see that we'll see Helvetica quite some time for quite some time in the next posters.
Now this one.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
This is actually a poster I really like.
yeah,
It's happy. You see what
yeah.
it is, and
Hmm.
it's beautiful. Like the hair, it transitions into waves, and then you've got the sailing boats on top of it. It's a bit rough, maybe, but I'll
Yeah.
excuse it because it's just such a beautiful image. I'd say.
The one thing that bugs me a little bit is that once again the sailing is kind of like the second element you will see. I'm not that opposed to it, but yeah, I think that I would have preferred to see sailing maybe bigger, and maybe more than just one face, or I don't know, maybe it's me, but I agree that it's calm, but it's also the happy face and stuff like that. It's welcoming.
Maybe here's something I could have done to make it better. They could have taken off those top layers of waves and
Mm,
just made the hair a bit more wavy and put the sailboats on top of the hair and made them bigger. And
definitely, yeah.
then
That would have been
it would
nice.
have been calmer, and also the sailing boats would have been bigger. So that would have
Yeah.
improved. But I still like it a lot. I
Oh yeah,
this is
it's
the first poster which I think does its job well and which I think looks good.
yeah. There's one thing I say that it would be the Kill Week 1975
Mhm.
in another color than red.
Mm.
There's already a lot of colors. The green works for the dates. I would have probably taken like the light blue or the darker green. Probably the light
Yeah.
blue because the darker
Yeah.
green with the purple wouldn't sit well. But definitely the light blue there would have been better. I think
Mm.
more cohesive.
Oh, look, we've got paper boats.
But this one I like. Unfortunately, Helvetica, 1976. Helvetica is still in vogue, and I mean,
The Helvetica
Montreal
classic catalog.
Olympics used no, Montreal Olympics used Universe, but I mean it's the same kind of principles as Helvetica, but. Uh, I think the 1974 poster one was also I think I was mistaken, but it may be Universe, but still it's Swiss design typefaces, whether it's Universe or Helvetica. It's the Swiss craze in typefaces.
Mm.
Thanks to many Swiss designers, but this one I actually like because it is interesting as a poster design because it has some functionality. It's maybe too crowded because there are many dates, but at least all the dates in which there
Yeah.
is an event
Yeah.
happening. I like that. The paper boats is a fun idea because it reminds that it's about boats, but maybe not just about boats, and I kind of like that. I just don't know why the 20th and the 27th are in red, but not the 19th. I think I would have made red the beginning and the end
Uh,
and not a random date
I
in the
might
middle. Maybe it's because
I might be able to answer that because I think the way Kill Week works, it starts on a first day. The festivities start, but it's also only
Mm.
officially open the day later on Friday.
So maybe that's why, yeah.
I think
So,
I think that
but
might be it.
that was, yeah, that was my second thought. It was maybe
But
because
the
it doesn't
19th is
start
still
exactly
still
on
a
the
part
19th.
of it, so they can't put it in
S
red because it's not the starting date
Exactly.
officially.
So that's interesting because yet you
Yeah.
can go there on the 19th and it would still be part of the week, albeit unofficially. And it's simple, wouldn't take that much ink, and yeah, interesting design. Maybe I would have not put the month on every boat. It just makes it a little bit crowded. I would
Yeah,
have
yeah.
probably put, especially since you have a big white space between the week and the boats. That would have been a nice place to put June, and then you have all the dates, and that would have worked for
But
me.
what bothers me about this is the white background, because the ships are already white, the
Yeah.
background is white. They kind of
Mm-hmm.
blend into each other a bit too much. I would have liked the background to be maybe blue, like maybe a
Mm-hmm.
bright light shade of blue,
Yeah.
something to give it a bit more contrast. I think that's what's missing here. But I love the concept as well. The paper boats. There's
Yeah.
something else. We've only had
Yeah. It's
the
interesting.
sails so far. Now we've got some paper boats. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've got just waves, no boats at all.
Yeah. And yeah, I wouldn't know what it is.
Yeah, it's again
Yeah.
could be a flag, could be waves.
Many
Uh,
things.
this could be a lot of stuff. This could be,
Yeah.
for all I know, this could be a NATO summit.
Yeah, and it could be yeah, it's it's too many things and nothing at the same time. It's a weird position we're in with that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I don't
I don't know
dislike
how to take
I
it.
don't dislike it. Um, but it just fails to tell.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell anything. Just
Yeah.
doesn't have a message to it.
And once again, it's a Swiss typeface. And I'm sorry, I'm mistaking it. I'm confusing Universe and Helvetica, but it's the one. The one is usually a good sign, and I think that's Universe. The one in 1976 and 1974, I think, were
Okay.
Helvetica, and 1975 and now 1977 are in Universe. But I mean, and looking at the lineup, it's going to be there for many, many years. And at one point, I would be, try to do something different. But back then, ordering typefaces and stuff like that, it's quite expensive and it does not work the same as now when you download the font and you can use it already and stuff like that. So I understand, and it was readily available in most design firms and stuff like that. But yeah, it was overused, and we'll see why, because it's going to be overused for many years.
Oh, no, no.
Oh my
I don't like it.
gosh.
I don't like it.
No, I totally agree. It's
Absolutely not.
it's no. Nothing much to add. I mean, it no.
Ah, do you want to say
Yeah.
anything about that? I
I'm
don't even want to talk about that one.
it's it it doesn't say anything. It to me it's once again the first idea someone had, I think, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's not much thought about it. I think once again there is a showcase of what we can do in terms of shading, because it's a good uh not shading, but the colors combines well, which is of course difficult to do in printing,
Hmm.
because you usually won't have that perfect of a blend of colors. So I think there is some technical prowesses over there, but I mean, it doesn't work. I don't know what it is. It could be a physics conference, it could be anything.
I
Yeah,
just
the
don't
first
like
thing
it.
that came to mind is like physics convention, opticians,
Film.
anything but sailing.
I just don't like
Uh,
looking at it. That's
it's a door
it's
opening, so maybe
unpleasant.
a construction conference. I don't know.
Just
It's not a sale.
yeah, yeah. This is the last design for this episode. I think it's a good point to cut it into half,
Yeah.
because we still got a lot of them ahead of us, and I also have
Oh
some
yeah,
things to
yeah,
do.
yeah.
But let's look at this one last, which uh, I don't know whether to like it for its creative approach or to hate it for how much there is in it. I'm kind of torn.
Um, yeah, and what's interesting is that the Olympics did the same thing with the
Did it?
sports posters. Yeah, for the because there are the official and the way the Olympics work, and that will probably be the one of the last time I talk about the Olympics. But it's interesting because they have a lot of
You keep
posters
bringing
too,
them up.
and yeah, the way it works for the Olympics is that the Olympic Committee makes a lot of posters, and at the end of the games, the president of the International Olympic Committee selects what is the poster of the games and the poster that he believes represents the best the Olympics that happened at those games. So usually the committees will make a lot of posters, and they will also make posters for each of the games, which are sometimes used as the basis for the regulations books and the reports and the programs and stuff like that. For instance, in Montreal, the sports posters were actually pictures of athletes in movements from 1972. It was interesting, but I think it's in Los Angeles in 1984. They did something like that where they took pictures of the sporting equipment laid flat like this and kind of showcasing what it is. So it's an art style that props during the 1980s. It's I kind of like it because it's interesting. It looks like something out of a book, but it's real pictures and real stuff, and there is some depth to it. I find it interesting. It says a little bit more what it is. You have kind of
Yeah.
some of the elements. You have the partying mask. You have the fish. You have the boats. You have the naval flags. You have some art pieces, and I
Absolutely.
guess you can have the feeling of a lot of things. I don't know what's the text within, if it says something or if it's just repeating it. And
I have
I
no
look
idea.
at it from no, I think it repeats because you see some patterns repeating, spaces that are quite regular. If you look like at the third
Yeah,
column
I see.
from the right, you see like the lines kind of match perfectly and stuff like that. So I figure it's a repetitive text, but if the text is interesting, if the text tells more about the event, the poster attracts your attention, and then you'll
Mm,
be drawn to go and read the text. And on that, considering it's a poster, considering everything, I like it. It's universe. The fonts, the typeface, I recognize it. It's definitely the same as the one used in Montreal in 1976 and Munich in 1972. So as
right.
it's a decade now that we see that happening on posters and international posters and stuff like that. That would be my only point, but it works in that sense that
Mm,
it's a typeface that was designed for either small text or big display posters like this one. So it's an interesting design, and I think it works. And it's but it's really 1980s, end of 1970s and 1980s style. I could probably show you the Los Angeles posters, and you would understand exactly what that is the art style that you would see time and time again during those years.
I will say here you can see, because you can see the main text, like all the little text.
Hmm.
You're supposed to
Yeah.
see it vertically, but again, the main writing, that the headline is made in a way you'd think, oh, you have
Yeah.
to turn it around. But I think that's kind of evidence that
Th-
suggests
th-
these posters are all supposed to be seen vertically, and it's just a
yeah,
design
this one
choice because
I think it's synced vertically. Yeah.
a lot of these people like to put the writing in such a way
Hmm.
for some
Yeah.
reason. And
It's a trend in design. Yeah.
also I feel like the date is in just above the 1979. There is the date, but
Hmm.
it's really small, and you could have
It's really tiny.
they could have made that
But
bigger. So
yeah, but that's the thing. The poster draws you near it. It's not a
exactly.
poster that you look from far and you're like, oh, okay, I brush it past. It captivates you because there are many smaller details, not just the text, but I mean, you have smaller pictures, you have smaller objects, and you are drawn to, get closer to it and you want to take a
Yeah,
good look at
exactly,
it. And
exactly.
on that front, knowing it's a poster that would probably be lining up plywood walls around construction sites, or you would probably see it in a subway or in a bus stop or something like that, you would see it in places, you would definitely be drawn to go and take a closer look to it, and then you would have all the information. And sometimes that's the job a poster needs to do. It's
Yeah,
to draw your attention, go and see what's on there, and then you have the information. And on that side, I think the poster works. It's a good job,
yeah,
and I
exactly.
think that if we look at functionality, it works. It's quite
Yeah, I agree.
interesting too.
I agree. Yeah, man,
Yeah.
I like all of the different things because it really shows you what Kiel Week is about. It has everything. It has the naval flags and the
Exactly.
fish.
Yeah.
It has the ship. It has the
Mm-hmm.
art. It has the fun and play
Yeah.
and everything. Even got a little
Exactly.
train there. How you're gonna get to Kiel
Yeah.
with the train, of course.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good design for the last poster for today's session. As you can see, we still
Yeah.
got quite a few to go. So that's for the next time. And thank you,
Yeah.
everyone, for watching, and thank you, Chloe, for being here with me and looking at this. I really appreciate it, and that's why I invited you because you keep telling us about the fonts and about how they made posters back then and comparing it to the time period. And I really
Yeah.
appreciate you bringing in that knowledge because I don't have that knowledge. So that's what makes
Uh,
this more interesting and more fun. This
yeah. My pleasure, and thanks for the invite. It's always nice to talk about design. It's a subject that passionates me, and having worked in a place where we had to talk about designs, and we had, especially Montreal's design in 1976 was quite interesting because it piggybacked a lot on Munich's games, and just improved a little bit on the works that was done in Munich. It's interesting to see how it makes the game more cohesive, and
mm,
and to see the evolution of posters. That was one of the interesting part of the tour. You had this all of posters from the games, and you could see the evolution, and how posters changed from simply telling people where the event is, when it is, and what it's about, to now we start to get into the territory where the posters are just something we do for the fun of it, and we'll see some interesting designs, some good, some poor, but beginning in the 19 at the after 1970s, you will see the posters that tend to veer from the main purpose of poster designs, as we previously saw, where the dates took a more prominent place, and the placing, the reference to Germany took a bigger place, and we'll see more artistic designs from now. And it's a nice place to stop. There's going to be a reflection in poster design to do we have to be about the event as much as showcase a more artistic sense, and we'll see that.
exactly. So again, thanks everyone for watching. Thank you for being here, Chloe, and until next
Thanks.
time, goodbye.